Hello, everybody. Today is Monday in the early morning. Yesterday, I went on a long run, as you do, and brought my camera with me, filmed some stuff. Got a notification on my camera saying that my memory card was full. Turns out, when you drag things to the trash on a MacBook, which I am unfamiliar with, they don't delete for some inconceivable reason. They just hide, probably out of fear of being deleted. So the run went really well. I was gonna do a long run review of the Hoka Mach X3, but instead I'm just gonna present to you what I filmed because I got some good thoughts out there for you. Not a ton of it being on the Mach X3, but some. So just enjoy and celebrate again. I guess celebrate your failures, celebrate the mistakes in life, learn your lessons. All right, enjoy. Good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday. It is time for a long run. Today, on this gorgeous, cool, chilly almost morning, I am going to take my own advice and reverse the route a little bit, but not even just reverse the route. I'm going to go on a completely different adventure than I normally do for my long runs. There is a place sort of a little bit after one of the water stations that I know of in Rochester that is a golf course. And it also happens to be the origin of the crows, like the birds, crows. Yeah, I found their spawn point. But that's typically in the fall when they're spawning, and that's how they get redistributed across the universe. Sort of transcendental beings, crows. But past that point, I've gone maybe a couple miles through the golf course, but it goes on for a really long way. So I'm just going to go down that way and see what I run into. It's not a place I've explored a ton. Like, I've hit my mileage barrier out in that direction before, but there's still more miles to be had, and I could totally travel that far, especially since today I'm ramping it up a little bit just to 19 just over 19 from last week's 19. So, or did I do 18 last week? I might have done 18 last week. So I'm going up to 19 either way. And let's get to it. That has been helpful guiding me in the last 2 years of my life, maybe a year and a half, has been trying to understand my values better. And one of those, perhaps the most critical, is curiosity. So, curiosity applies to running for me in what I'm doing today, which is going somewhere that I haven't been to augment the experience of running and to satiate that inherent curiosity I find in the immediate surroundings that I'm faced with, like my literal physical geographical surroundings. And curiosity is a propellant. It'll take you a long way. Now, it might put you in situations you don't absolutely love being in. I've had, at least pertinent to running, curiosity take me into sketchy situations with barely leashed dogs, or bad vibes, or hailstorms even. This was back out in Colorado. But sometimes you gotta scratch that itch. One thing I hope I remember to mention back in the studio is that these some cute dogs. That I noticed a seam
or like a thread coming out of the tongue of the Mach X3. And that's not great. I mean, there's not that many miles on this. It just seems to have come undone, the thread. It's not the best build quality. I don't think it's going to affect anything. It's just on the tongue, but come on. Another of my core values, which I didn't even realize was the case until my therapist poignantly pointed it out, is beauty. There's something, even running, more valuable about a beautiful day than a miserable one. A day where the sun is out, it's cool, it's morning, and a mama deer, and a baby deer, and another baby deer can hang out. It's okay, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to spook you. That's the first time I've seen them get spooked like that. But it's a beautiful morning to enjoy a run with some deer. And if that's not a value in your life, it doesn't have to be. But for me, beauty is really quite something. Actually, that thought was by no means complete. There's a book by Zadie Smith called On Beauty, which I recommend any fiction lovers dive into. Zadie Smith is a postmodernist of the David Foster Wallace school, similar to Jonathan Franzen as well. But she's writing multicultural, large family panoramas that deep dive, like Franzen, into the intimacies of family life, putting her own lens on it, of course, being, I believe, Jamaican, but living in the UK, growing up in the UK. As far as I know, I don't want to get anything wrong here, so take what I'm saying with a slab of research, but in On Beauty, she's meditating on the concept of beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and how it is impossible for humans not to value beauty, but the definition of beauty can be so radically different depending on who you are, where you were raised, and even within a family, what speaks to you as a person. Days like today, for sure, speak to me as a person, and I find curiosity beautiful, the act of curiosity, the act of exploring your curiosities. That's my idea of a good time, to put it comedically. But going on this little adventure down to the origin of the crows and beyond, it's like a little Middle Earth saga. It helps that Rochester is visually similar to the Shire. Could have totally filmed the Hobbit trilogy, at least the Shire parts, out here in Rochester. It's a beautiful place. But again, if you're used to a different pace of life, like, you might not find lush greenery or views like willow trees and mossy, algae-filled, stagnant canal paths beautiful. You might find something else beautiful. Or you might find this beautiful, but it might not be your aesthetic. And there's absolutely nothing either way about it. It's about a personal identification with form and color and composition. And it's really hard to say that there is an objective beauty, but all humans, we know when we find something beautiful. I have two things to touch on. First is, I had no idea there would be this many golfers out. But why would I think that? I just thought, like, maybe, like, golfers were, I don't know, sleeping in on a Sunday. I don't know how golf works, apparently. Like, I had this image in my head that this would be completely empty until 10 a.m. The other thing, and this is a recurring theme apparently on these long runs, is that when you are born, life is all brand new. And I can't go this way. Sorry. When you're born, life is all brand new. And every day is the longest day you've ever lived until the next day. So the first day is the longest day you've ever lived. Then the next day is a bit shorter than that because you've already lived one day. Now your total lived experience, the sum of it, is 2 days, and the second day is only half of the time you've lived. And then the third day is only a third of the time you've lived. And it regresses until you die. And so, as you age, you experience time more rapidly because it's a lower percentage of the total time you've existed. With running, 2 years ago, literally 2 years ago, not even, because I hadn't even started running yet, like a year in September is when I started running. So like in September it will be 2 years. At that time I couldn't run 4 miles. Before you know it, today I haven't even settled into the run. I'm still like limping a little bit and I don't know, tying my shoes a couple times and putzing around with deer. Before you know it though, I ran 4 miles and I have to eat a goo. I was like, when the heck did that happen? When did I go from not being able to run 4 miles to not even being awake and running 4 miles? It's a great feeling, but it's also reminiscent of the brevity and ephemeral nature of life. So this is actually kind of really cool. I was just about to talk to you about the fact that I've been somewhere where I have never been for a while, but those power lines might look familiar. The other side of the canal